Welcome to the Whatever It Takes to Be a Hero kickoff event. My name is Elise Dixon, and I will serve as the technical producer for today's event. Teen moderators from local clubs across the nation will lead today's discussion on what it means to be a hero and what you can do every day to become an everyday hero. At this time, I will introduce your moderators. Your first moderator is Elisa. Elisa is a sophomore at Van Horn High School. She attends the Hawthorne Boys and Girls Club in Independence, Missouri. She enjoys reading, listening to music, and trying new foods. Welcome, Elisa. Your next moderator is Conrad. Conrad is a senior at Camden County High School. He is an active member of the Naval Submarine Kings Bay Youth Center Club. He also serves on the leadership board for the Military Teen Ambassadors, helping teens learn about the 7 C's of resiliency and reintegration. And Conrad plans on pursuing a career at the Naval Academy upon graduation. Welcome, Conrad. Our next moderator is Preston. Preston is an active member of the Kings Bay Youth Programs since the age of 7. He is the Teen Program Media Manager and Vice President of the Military Teen Ambassador Program. Welcome, Preston. And last, but certainly not least, we have Amari. Amari is a member of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Albany. He is a well-mannered young man who persists in all endeavors. His passion and excellence shows in all the work that he does. He tends to find the brighter side of every situation, which shows his level of maturity and responsibility. Welcome, Omari. Now, at this time, I'm going to turn this over to your teen moderators. Omari, it's all yours.
Thanks, Ms. Elise. And welcome everyone to the Whatever It Takes to Be a Hero event sponsored by the CW Network. Today, we are going to explore what it means to be a hero both on TV and in real life. Many of your clubs will be receiving some great posters of a few of the CW Network's DC comic superheroes. It's part of the network's campaign, Real Heroes Wear Masks. It highlights what we can do every day to be a hero for ourselves and others around us. Before we introduce today's panelists, we want to give you all a peek into the CWverse superheroes.
You have failed this city.
With all the loss we have suffered, it's important we embrace the miracles too. We're a team.
The staff chose me to get justice.
Was there a crossover? Did we win?
Our goal is to stop crime and violence.
I will not let fear win.
Just run as fast as you can. I'll try to keep up.
I'm an upstanding citizen now. This ends now.
We can all stand up for what's right, no matter what.
Truth and justice always prevail. You ready?
I stay ready.
You are Earth's mightiest heroes.
What if this wasn't the life we were meant to have after crisis? Your mother's planning a trip.
Clark Kent, back in Smallville.
This family needs Smallville as much as the world needs Superman.
Clark, I need you to get to Metropolis now. It's the boys.
The boys?
Yeah, honey, your sons. Front page news. Does this ever get old?
If it does, I will let you know.
I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. You may have noticed the video introduced a brand new show coming to the CWverse, Superman and Lois. Today we'll have the chance to speak with both Superman and Lois to discuss everything related to be a hero, both on and off screen. So, I will introduce our first panelist, Tyler Hecklin. Tyler was born on September 11th in Corona, California. He's an actor known for Road to Perdition, Everybody Wants Some, and Teen Wolf. Other television credits include Crisis on Infinite Earths, Arrow, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash, Batwoman, Supergirl, and Seventh Heaven. Film credits include Palm Springs, Can You Keep a Secret, Then Came You, 50 Shades Freed, Undrafted, and Hard Pass. Welcome to the panel, Tyler. Now we'll pass it to Elisa, who will introduce our next panelist.
Thanks, Amari. Our next panelist is Elizabeth Bitsy Tulloch. Bitsy is an American actress. She was born in San Diego, California, but grew up in Spain, Uruguay, and Argentina. She is best known for her role as Juliet Silverton / Eve in the television series Grimm. Other television credits include Crisis on Infinite Earths, Arrow, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash, Batwoman, Supergirl, Portlandia, Quarter Life, and The West Wing. Welcome, Bitsy. Before we jump into the Q&A portion, I would like to invite you to play an icebreaker with us so we can get to know you a little bit better. The icebreaker is called Show and Tell. Each of us was asked to bring an item that was special to us, and we will show the item and then share with everyone what it is and why it's important to us. Any questions? Okay, I'll go first. So the item that I chose is a photo of my family, because I feel like you can do anything if you have the right people to support you, and my family has always been there for me through everything that I've went through. Conrad, can you go next?
Yes, ma'am. So for mine, I am part of a class and program called NJROTC, which is a leadership kind of a class, and it's based around military ethics. And ever since my freshman year, I really wanted these uniforms called dress blues, which are the very nice uniforms, and people think highly of the people that wear them. And today I brought with you my cap that I have with them. And to me, this just, it shows me how much I can accomplish if I put any effort in my mind and any hard work. There's nothing I can't do. All right, Amari, you're next.
Thanks, Conrad. And my item today I'm actually wearing my item. My item will be my chains, and I got these from my grandfather. And when I wear them, I feel deeper connected to him. I feel like his presence is with me. So I wear them all the time, and it really symbolizes the love and respect I have for him when I wear them. So, Preston, can you go next?
No problem. So I got this camera. I use it to take pictures for the PR team that I'm on the Kings Bay Naval Base. I like it because I like to take pictures and post it on our various social media platforms so we could help promote the Teen Center. Next up is you, Betsy. What is your item and why is it special for you?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for sharing your items. Those are all really wonderful and meaningful, and I appreciate learning about you. My item that I brought is meaningful. I got it via Tyler, actually, through his sister, Carrie. I have a almost 21-month-old baby girl, and she likes these little tiny blankets called Lovies. And Tyler's sister, and he brought it up to Vancouver for me, made this for Vivian. And it means a lot to me that she did that. So anyway, it was very thoughtful of Tyler and his sister to give that to me. So it means a lot to me.
Thank you for sharing. Tyler, how about you? Let's hear about your item.
Well, I'm very flattered that Bitsy brought the blankie. I'm sure my sister will appreciate that. Thank you guys for having us. In the short time we've gotten to know you, like these few seconds, you guys are all so impressive. And to second what Bitsy said, thank you for sharing your items, and it's great to hear what they mean to you. I happen to have my baseball mitt. This is the glove that I used in high school and in college. I grew up playing baseball, and it means a lot to me. It's kind of still where I feel like I am rooted. A lot of my character and everything comes from being part of a team and going back to those days on the baseball field. So this always reminds me where I came from, and reminds me it's always better to be part of a team. So I got my glove with me today.
Wow, that is great. Thank you for participating in our icebreaker. I feel like we learned a lot of interesting things about each other. Now that we have broken the ice, let's move into our Q&A section. For everyone watching online, the moderators have identified a few questions we would like to ask Tyler and Betsy. But if we have a little time at the end, We would like for you to ask questions. So drop your questions in the chat box below. The purpose for our discussion today is to explore ways we could be an everyday hero. So first question is, who is a superhero in your life and what made them a superhero to you?
Bitch, you want to go first? You're muted, so I guess I will go. I would say my superheroes in my life is my family. You know, I've grown up and as I've gotten older, I've been very very fortunate to know that I came from a great family that was very supportive and very close. And they've kind of been my biggest cheerleaders my whole life, and whatever I was doing, whether it was school or baseball or acting, they were always there for me. And I think the thing I learned from my parents especially is they always put our needs in front of their own. And I think to me, that's kind of what really makes a hero, is someone who can unselfishly look at a situation and give more than they take. And I would say that from my parents' point of view, that they've definitely done that my entire life. So they're the superheroes to me.
I would say especially in the last 5 days since the election, when we've had, you've seen journalists like John King literally staying up for 72 hours straight, barely eating or taking bathroom breaks. I would say my heroes, especially in the last 4 years, when it seems like the profession of journalism itself is under siege, are all of the journalists who have been doggedly covering politics, especially, at a time when it's harder and harder to do that. And it's been chaotic the last few years, and I appreciate that they have, in spite of being under siege, really helped keep a magnifying glass and a spotlight on what is important. And yeah, so those would be my heroes, especially right now.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Adding to the previous question, I want to know what makes a superhero. Who determines what that is, and who gets the title?
I'll take this one. I said this when Tyler and I had done a panel for DC Fandom. The thing, and one of the reasons why I'm a fan of Superman too, is that his power isn't that he's, crazy strong and can fly really fast. It's that Superman has the power to destroy the world, and he doesn't. He could use his powers for evil or selfish reasons, and he chooses not to. He believes in decency. And the truth is, like, if he wasn't Superman and if he was just Clark Kent without the powers, he would be the same person. And you don't need to have powers or be supernaturally fast or supernaturally strong to be good and decent and kind. And I think a lot of why I'm really proud to be on the show, especially right now, is that the character of Superman embodies decency and he embodies hope.
Yeah, I'll say just to finish. Sorry, Omar, I didn't mean to cut you off. Just to step in on what Bitsy said. That's kind of from day one of playing this character. What's been exciting for me about it is the idea that Superman's not Superman because he has the powers that he has. I think other people call him Superman. You have to have other people acknowledge you as Superman to be that person. So what makes him Superman is the choices that he makes on a consistent basis. He just does everything good that he can. So for me, the idea is that anybody can be their own Superman. It's not an arsenal of tools and weapons that you have at your disposal. It's the choices that you make and whether or not you choose to always do good and to always help and try to be on the right side of things.
Thank you. I really appreciate your answers.
So as we all know, a lot has changed in 2020. So how are you coping with everything that is happening in the world right now?
I was waiting to see if your mic went first, Bits.
Who won?
You want to go first?
I think I have been coping by constantly reminding myself how much I have to be grateful for. it was really lovely to have a moment, especially when, you know, we were first aware of the pandemic, of just, you know, a lot of the people whose careers have perhaps been overlooked, like whether it's garbage men or people who work at grocery stores or janitors, who all of a sudden did become heroes to all of us and who enabled us to be able to stay home safely and quarantine safely. And so just that sense of gratitude that, you know, that I was able to afford even to stay home, that I didn't have to go to work, that I could stay safer. And just the gratitude that, you know, for my health and the health of my family, and really keeping in check, just reminding that a lot of people are suffering right now, and that is an ongoing thing. And we have seen massive spikes in COVID cases in the US in the last week, and it's probably gonna get worse before it gets better. And to, you know, whether to remember that, you know, privilege is when you think something isn't a problem because it's not a problem to you personally. And while I may be able to stay home and stay safe, other people can't. And so I think there's just been an awareness of that over this past year, and also some sadness that people are having a hard time right now all over the world, and doing as much as I can, whether it's using my social media platform or donating to help others in any way that I can.
I think Bitsy kind of hit the nail on the head with just gratitude. I think that's something I try to focus on in any situation. It's always, I think, a benefit to take a second and think about what you're grateful for. And in this time, I've, you know, focusing on the things that are important. I think it's been time to kind of hit pause in some ways, and I realize that's a blessing for me that I haven't had the effects that it's been. On family and things outside of work and outside of the normal pace of life that we were all used to. I think, like Bitsy said, just taking a step back and focusing on what you're grateful for.
I definitely agree with that. Thank you.
Before I say this question, I'd like to say that those were amazing answers that you said in the previous question. Moving on to your characters and your respected roles, what characteristics from your personal life do you bring to keep you grounded and more relatable to your viewers in your respected roles?
I think for me, I think it's kind of some of the things we've mentioned. Family. I think family and a sense of duty to others. Like I said, I have my baseball glove with me. It's always been a thing. You know, teamwork has been such a huge thing for me my entire life, with playing team sports and working on sets from the time I was a kid. I'm very, very aware that, like, there are selfish ambitions, and then there are things that you accomplish together. And I think at the end of the day, we are who we are as a species, as people, as humans, because we cooperate, because we work together for things and to accomplish things that seem unrealistic sometimes. So for me, I love to focus on that element of it. I like to think of, even though when you think of Superman, you kind of think of him on his own. He doesn't exist on his own. He wouldn't exist on his own if he didn't have the support of the people that he tries to protect, and if he didn't have the support of his family, the support of his parents growing up. You know, I think that's one of the things we can look at the individual, but we always have to look at the people around them to make them who they are. So for me, I really try to focus on that, you know, not just Clark Kent and Superman, but the people closest to him and the people that mean the most to him.
I would say one of the main characteristics I have in common is with Lois is that she's not easily intimidated. She's hardworking and driven, and she is determined, and she cares about justice. And I do too. And I feel like I can always do more. But, you know, one thing I aspire to be more like Lois about is that she really embodies the aphorism of, you know, be the change you wish to see in the world. And she's a good person, and she doesn't give up. One thing I do have in common with her is that I come from a military family on both sides of my family, and so did she. And that means a lot to me, and I'm very proud of that. And I'm proud of the massive years of service that both sides of my family have given to this country. I think she's awesome. I find her really compelling and vulnerable and goofy and a klutz, or maybe I'm just a klutz and I'm bringing that to the character. But as Tyler knows very well. But I definitely, I think from the beginning when Lois was introduced in 1938, right along with Superman, that she has, you know, and I've said this ad nauseum in interviews, but she really defied society's expectation of what women, especially at the time, were like. At that point, they were portrayed as sort of demure and deferring to men, and her character wasn't really like that. And so I'm very, very proud to join the wonderful group of actresses who have played Lois Lane, and I hope that I make the fans proud too.
It's just so amazing to see how that you two are able to just really relate with your background life and your personal traits to the characters. I think that is a very great thing for us viewers to see, and thank you for that amazing answer.
So how can we as youths develop ourselves to be a superhero to others?
Are you going? I would just say, I don't know. Think about what's important to you and stand up for it, and stand up for other people. If you see other people being marginalized or oppressed or bullied, use your voices. I'm really inspired by the young people who, you know, especially on Tuesday and in the months leading up to it, who are voting by mail, who were voting and who were getting involved in politics. And, you know, whether it's like the Sunshine Movement or all the youths after Parkland who started marching and really putting a spotlight on gun safety. You guys are using your voices, and you have this ability to harness the collective power of social media, and you're using it for good. So that would be what I would say.
Yeah, I would say on the other side of that as well, there's I think sometimes, especially right now, on the other side of social media, there's kind of that thing of if there's no picture, then it didn't happen, or if you can't post it, then there's no proof and it didn't happen, kind of thing. I find that, like I said, it's a consistency of choices sometimes, not necessarily like the scale of the act. So I think, you know, there's a pressure. At least I felt this when I was younger. It was kind of that thing of, you know, if you can't accomplish something that in scale feels massive, then what's the point? And that's really not how it is. I think social media has allowed the world to shrink for us a little bit, which is a great thing. We can see things that are going on all over the world in a split second, and that's amazing. But at the end of the day, you interact with the people in your space. And I think that's why it was so important for people with the voting this year, you know, vote local and pay attention to the things going on in your community, because that is where you are most impacted. And that's where the people in your lives and your communities are most impacted. So, you know, just making consistent decisions that may feel like nothing to you. I can't tell you how many times, you know, just a smile and a hello and a how are you doing makes a huge difference to someone who maybe sometimes feels ignored or neglected. So it doesn't have to always be large in scale or something that other people can necessarily see or observe or congratulate you on. It really is, I think, the consistency of acts of decency and kindness and compassion towards everyone that makes a big difference. And you may never, you know, get a like for that, or you may not get people that write an article about it, but people will remember you that way, and it will make a big difference to them growing up. So, you know, I remember when I was a kid, the littlest things that someone did that I'm sure, like, I've done them as an adult now and realize how small it feels to me, but I remember how big it felt to me as a kid when they showed me that kindness and things like that. So never underestimate what a small act of consistent kindness really can achieve.
That was some amazing advice.
So, how has COVID-19 impacted your career?
I will say I'm going back to the gratitude thing, very grateful to be back at work. Incredibly grateful. There's a lot of people in our business and in our industry who are not working right now, especially those in the, you know, live performance, theater, things like that. There's a lot of struggles going on there right now. So I know Bitsy and I are both very grateful, along with everybody up here, to be back to work. But yeah, we were supposed to be shooting the show back in March. And we've just started production as of October. So we definitely felt a delay, but we're really excited to be back and very grateful to be back, and hoping that we can stay safe while we do it, so that we can get you guys a full season that we plan on.
I would say, like Tyler said, we're definitely really grateful to be back at work, and we obviously understood why it was necessary to delay the show until we could start it safely. It's strange working with people, like I'm sure you guys have all noticed in your lives. It's harder to read people's faces when half of their faces are covered up, but masks are really important and they work. And so we're doing that. It's also hard to hear people. So there's a lot of like, huh, what going on set. It's a lot of hand sanitizer being passed around. But overall, I would say it's remarkable how well it's working with all these extensive COVID protocols in place. There's zones on our show, and zone A, which is, the actors. When we're filming on screen, obviously we can't have masks on covering our face. So we have to get tested 3 times a week. And that's not only for our own protection, but that's for the protection of the crew. So more than ever, one of the reasons I love working in TV in particular, like when I did Grimm for 6 years, and by the end of it, we really were a family with the crew. We had watched people get married and have babies and get divorces and die. And it really felt like a family. And this feels almost even more collaborative than ever, because we're trying to keep each other safe.
Thank you for sharing. I can completely agree. I feel like we are all just thankful and grateful for where we are at this moment.
So how is the shooting of the TV series and the environment on the set changing due to COVID?
I think Bits kind of hit a little bit of that. It's definitely different in the sense of, it's usually a lot of, at least in my experience, a lot of like high fives and things like that. And now it's a lot of like elbows at the most. And so everybody's kind of keeping their distance while still trying to show some like enthusiasm. But it's just, just precautions that we need to take to make sure that we can continue to film and that we don't have to shut down production. But yeah, the mask wearing is a great thing that we have going, and everybody's been really, really good about that, but it does make it interesting when communicating sometimes. I find myself being much more expressive with my eyes these days. Like trying to smile with my eyes or laugh with my eyes, or anything in between. So, but it's been a new challenge. It's been something to get used to, but incredibly proud of everybody on our set. They've done a terrific job. From what I know, we've been congratulated 2 weeks in a row now for having 0 cases. Knock on wood. Something's wood in here. But it's been a lot of fun. But it's definitely something to get used to.
One of the things that I've found hard is that I'm very affectionate, and I like hugging, and there was a scene with Tyler, and it wasn't scripted to kiss, but I kind of just kissed him. And then I was like, oh God, is the COVID supervisor going to come over and like yell at me? Should I not have kissed him? But like, we're married on the show. So normally I wouldn't think twice about if I was feeling in the moment and like I wanted to kiss that handsome face, just grabbing it. But now I was like, oh God. And then I was like, is that okay? Can I kiss you? Do you feel comfortable with that? And the same with, we have 2 14-year-old boys on this show, 2 wonderful actors named Alex Garfin and Jordan Elsas. And, we're all getting tested. And obviously when we're shooting, we don't have masks on, but I kind of was asking them, like, are you guys comfortable if I touch your hand, if I, put my hands through your hair, if I hug you on screen? And, because we are all scared of getting COVID, we're all scared of being, the person who gets COVID and then ends up shutting production down, which doesn't just affect us. If we have to quarantine, it would affect everybody who'd been exposed to us, and nobody wants to be that person. So just it's been a lot of asking for permission to like physically, literally get close to people. But again, I'm really grateful to be back at work, and it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, that sounds like, oh, I'm sorry. That sounds like how the schools and the clubs have changed, because like now you have to ask for consent to even high five somebody, like you were saying. And I also I smile a lot. And so when I have the mask on, they can't really see me smiling. And so then I feel like, oh, okay. So now I just look weird, just looking at them like this. But yeah, that's what I agree with too.
This question is for Tyler. With all the important heroes and with a lot of the children growing up, like Captain America, Batman, to name a few, what's the pressure that you feel of being Superman and playing that role?
You know, man, it's so funny, and I really hope this doesn't come off as in any kind of an arrogant way at all. It's really strange. I don't know why I've always said this, and I actually was talking to my producer the other night about this. For whatever reason, with this character, I've always felt a responsibility to the character and to what this character means for so many people and what he stands for. I've always felt that responsibility, but I don't know why I've just not felt the pressure. And I got to give some credit to Greg Berlanti and the team that brought me in the first place. I think they gave me such a great vote of confidence to feel like I was their right choice for the character. That, you know, we had a really great meeting in the beginning and kind of established, you know, what he means to each of us and what he really represents. And I think we were so on the same page. They gave me a lot of confidence to go into the role feeling like it was going to succeed and that this version of this character was going to land in a place that people who are fans of the character really appreciated. So I can't explain why that is. I've felt plenty of pressure in the past with different roles and different things that I've done. But sometimes, you know, sometimes I think you just have to feel like you are where you're supposed to be. And I feel like, you know, their confidence in bringing me in made me feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. And just trying to commit to those core values of who Superman is and represent those the best way that I can. So I'm really enjoying it. I want to deliver the greatest version of this character that I can for everybody who it means so much to. So that's really just my focus. My focus is every day just going in and doing your job. And at the end of the day, realizing that there's only so many things in your control. So for me, as long as I do my preparation, as long as I commit to what I'm working on, what I feel like needs to go into it and do all of that, if it is a version that people don't like, then I really can't do anything about that. So I think that's kind of where you alleviate pressure sometimes in a lot of situations, is knowing that if you put in the time and the work and the preparation and your intention is there, you know, if other people's opinions of what your end result isn't favorable, that's never going to be something you can control. So you just have to take pride in doing what you do to the best of your ability and let it land there. After that, it's out of your hands. And so learning to control what you can and can't control gets rid of pressure in a lot of situations. So it's been nice. Hopefully I can keep that going.
Yeah, granted that I've never can say that I've acted for Superman at all, but I definitely know the importance of having a great support system, being able to stay locked in. So thank you for the great answer.
So what characteristics from Superman can be applied to the everyday hero?
Is that for either of us, or is that one just for me?
I think that one's just for you.
Just for me. So what characteristics of Superman can be applied to an everyday hero? I think some of the things we talked about earlier, always standing up for what's right, always standing up for truth and justice and things like that. I think again, what's always made Superman to me is just always choosing to do good. It's always choosing to do good, always putting the well-being of others in front of your own, always being selfless. I think those qualities about him are just really admirable, and honestly, never giving up. I think never giving up. For me, that's another characteristic that I feel as I've gotten to play this character more and more, I realize I have in common is that, even when things are looking grim and looking dark, I do have faith that we will figure this out. If you look at, what we've done over not a short period, but a long period of being on this earth and what we've done, I think, I have faith that we will continue to make progress and we will continue to work towards things that benefit everyone into a place that we can all be proud of. So, sometimes I've had my cynical times in life where I didn't believe that was going to happen. And I've had the times in my life where I've just decided, I can either choose to believe this is never going to happen, or I can choose to believe that we will figure this out and have faith that we will find a way, and be part of finding that way. I think when you resign sometimes that it's hopeless, you kind of take yourself out of the equation and you kind of almost give yourself a free pass to not do your part because you feel like it's hopeless. And so if it's hopeless, then why even try? But I feel like when you do have that hope, when you do have that optimism, you can constantly look how to be a part of that solution. So that to me is a big part of Superman.
That is amazing to know.
So Tyler, what made you want to play the role of a superhero? Is it something like that originated in your youth? Is it something you've always wanted to do?
Funny enough, no, it wasn't on my radar. It wasn't something that I necessarily had always thought about or dreamed about. Like I said, it's just sometimes in your life you feel like something is making itself obvious to you and you don't necessarily know why, or it's not even necessarily a choice. You just find yourself there and you kind of have to listen. And for me, it was something where I think when I was younger, I tried finding roles that, for a variety of reasons, I either wanted to go either to prove something to myself or to prove something to other people. And I think at the end of the day, this was a character that I feel like for whatever reason I understood. I feel like, he is so incredibly hopeful and optimistic to I feel like the way that my parents raised me through sports and my coaches who always kind of gave me that never give up attitude and anything is possible. I just feel like I can at least connect to his never ending optimism and hopefulness in some way. And so it felt like this was just a place that I was kind of being called to. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity to do it. So it's, like I said, I believe in being hopeful and optimistic for the future. And I think for me, at least, I've found that on my end, it's a choice of how I want to see the world and how I want to look at things. And this is how I want to look at things, is how I want to encourage people to look at things, is that always acknowledging our problems and our shortcomings and identifying those and trying to work through those with the hope that we will make it through and that we will make progress. Because the alternative is being hopeless and feeling like it's just all going to come to an end very soon. And I don't want to encourage that, I guess, bleak kind of outlook. So I'd like to stand for the other.
Thank you. With an answer like that, I'm pretty sure you're perfect for the role.
So I just feel like when we think of the impact of COVID, we think of the negative impacts and how everything's going badly. What is something positive that you experienced during COVID?
I know I alluded to this earlier, but I do, and I consider myself, and I certainly try to be, it's more important to me than almost anything, it's just being kind. But I was, when there was sort of a spotlight on people such as janitors or people in the grocery store clerks, people that have careers that I had sort of taken for granted. And I think it was really beautiful to see, nurses, ER doctors, doctors who would go days and days without sleeping, all of these sort of new frontline heroes. Just, it was very humbling to experience that sense of gratitude, and also humbling to realize that some of them were people whose careers I had perhaps taken for granted. And the other thing I said too is that I feel like we're not going to get through this as a country or as a world unless we all make some sacrifices. And that's part of the reason why mask wearing is really important and social distancing is important. And yes, that can be boring. And yes, I'm sure we all miss family and friends, but collectively, we all need to make sacrifices. And so there is this awareness of just how much we're all in it together. And I think that hopefully that's something that we will look back on as being a positive thing that sort of inspired this feeling in a lot of people.
Yeah, I would say remembering to be grateful for the things that matter most. I think if anything, this has really thrown into view just a rather important perspective on the things that matter most. I think our world was moving really, really fast and constantly, you know, at least I always felt like there was this element of catch up or, you know, being left behind or missing something that you didn't want to miss or that someone told you you couldn't miss. It was a no, you can't miss event, once in a lifetime thing. And all those things kind of got canceled. So I think a lot of those things that we always felt like the world could never live without, we really learned that we can, and not that we necessarily should, or like that those things shouldn't come back. But just that, you know, those people closest to you in your life, those closest friends, those closest family members, those people that are the nearest to you that really do have the greatest impact in your life, to really remember how important those things are and how important your relationships are. You know, it's not events, it's not these spectacles. Those things are great and they're really fun and we all enjoy them. But I think at the end of the day, those things that matter most, that no matter what happens in the world, when it does shut down, doesn't shut down. And those are the people in your life. Those are the people, the relationships that you have. And so I think time to focus on those in a guilt-free way, not feeling like you were, you know, giving up something somewhere else or, you know, being lazy for not working extra, you know, overtime or things like that. I think it was a great opportunity for us to really reset and think about what's most important to us when everything gets put on hold for a minute. So I think that would be my silver lining.
I agree, because I feel like most of the things that we had to give up were like wants instead of needs. And now we understand what we can live without, like you were saying. Thank you for sharing.
This next question is for Bitsy. You know, the definition of superheroes is changing drastically in our lives. Today, we consider first responders, frontline workers, military members as our superheroes. How would you consider Lois Lane, your character, a superhero?
Well, for one thing, she just never seems to tire above all else. And she is pursuing truth and justice and fighting for people who are oppressed. And I think one of the things that I love the most about her personality is that she never sacrifices her own sense of self. And I find that really admiring and a beautiful thing. And I also like that she's sort of an amalgamation of a lot of different traits. You know, she's vulnerable and she's feminine, but she's also masculine and you know, embodies some of these more traditionally masculine, I should say, traits of, you know, toughness and doggedness, and she's vulnerable and fallible and also romantic, and she's just a lot of, to me anyway, really interesting. There's a lot of really interesting facets of her personality.
Thank you. It was a great answer. Once again, having a lot of those characteristics and traits that just make you a better person and a role model for any community, whether it be in a fictional world or in real life, is truly inspiring to see. Thank you.
So have you two ever worked together before, and how has it been getting to know each other and work together?
Bitsy and I don't have any fun at all. It's no fun at all on our set. No, Bitsy and I, we never worked together before these characters. You know, we've done some of the other CW shows, but this is the first time that Bitsy and I have had the pleasure of actually spending like a really good amount of time together consistently working. And I couldn't be having more fun. And for so many reasons, and Bitsy knows all of them. But we've had a really, really great time, and I feel As I've told, everybody that we work with, I feel incredibly lucky to have Bitsy here as Lois Lane in our world here. It's been so much fun, and I hope that we get to do it for a long time.
So I worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week, and then I was off on Thursday, which is the first day I'd had off in a while. And like Tyler and I called each other, and I was like, I miss you, and he's like, I miss you too, and I'm like, I hope everyone on set misses me. Like, we're just having so much fun together, and I think that we really make each other laugh which is really important when we're shooting long days. And I think too, like, part of the reason the dynamic worked, and I was cast without reading with Tyler, and I was like praying that I loved working with him and that he was, kind and professional and cool, and he was all of that and more. But I think part of the reason the fans responded to us is that they can tell we're having fun with each other. And I think that's fun probably to watch too. And we really are, like, we'll start laughing. I'm like, oh my God, I have to walk away. Otherwise we're never going to wrap today, because we're just giggling about, usually it's because I like fell off my mark or tripped or something. But it has been an absolute pleasure. And I feel really, really grateful too, because Tyler and I have very similar work ethics, and that's not a given. Yeah, I'm just over the moon happy.
Yeah, it's great to have a great bond between your workers and your coworkers together so you can get things done.
I want to say thanks again for answering all our questions. One of the best things about being able to host these type of events is the chance to see some behind the scenes stuff that normally isn't available. Something we would love to see is what backstage looks like. Could you share any backstage pictures or perhaps pictures on set?
Yeah, I think I sent you guys some photos from backstage. That's Lois's pass. That is Lois's mug from her desk at the Daily Planet. That is a screenshot I took of it was probably on a background actor's computer. Same Daily Planet newspaper. As we know, Lois and Clark are both journalists. That's a cute photo I took of Tyler.
Yeah, I've never seen a movie set before, and I didn't know how many like meticulous things that there are. It's definitely a pleasure to see, and thank you for showing us these.
You're welcome.
Well, now that we've seen the set, can we maybe see like a prop?
Oh wait, like a prop from set? Because I actually did bring home that mug. Here you go.
I usually wait until season 2 to steal something, so I don't have anything yet.
I did not steal that. That was given to me by the prop guy because I really like chubby mugs, and it was just the perfect rotund mug for my morning coffee, and I did not steal it.
Thank you for showing us that.
So could you show us some of the COVID changes and protocols on set?
I think Bitsy sent in a video for that as well, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show you guys some of the COVID protocols we adhere to on set. Everybody has their own little box like this, and inside the box we have all my warming stuff and some shoes, and over here there's always lots of hand sanitizer and masks around, alcohol wipes. Basically, unless we're on camera, we have our masks on for the safety of the crew.
Thank you. And one more question. What advice would you give to young aspiring actors, or just aspiring actors in general?
I think it's not an easy profession, and there's a lot of rejection. So, you got to have some thick skin and have a good support system. Don't take it personally. It is almost, I cannot tell you how many jobs I've not booked in my career. And even in the years, I mean, granted, I was pregnant and stuff, but leading up to this role, which I am totally in love with, and I hope to play her for years at least, but there was a lot of frustration because I wasn't booking the kinds of things I wanted to book, and it's, in hindsight, all made sense. For me, I sort of had approached it from a really academic standpoint, and that wasn't working for me. But I think the classes when I was first starting acting, and also I started late, and a lot of people like pop out of the womb doing jazz hands, especially these days. I feel like people have agents by the time they're two. Tyler was a very successful child actor. I didn't start till I was like 24. And that's okay too. And if you suddenly wake up and you're, 40 years old and you're like, I want a career change, then go for it and work hard at it. Whatever you do, work hard and do what you love.
I would second a lot of that. You have to be persistent. Usually it does not happen overnight. If it does, do not think that that's common. It's very rare. So I have a friend of mine and we joke all the time. He's one of my best friends. I love him to death. And he's a very successful actor now, but he booked, a couple of his first few auditions and then went in for a few auditions and didn't book them and called his agent to apologize because he thought he had done something wrong. And his agent's like, I don't know what you're talking about. We weren't expecting you to book anything for like the first 2 years. So it's not something that just happens instantly. If it does, that's an incredible, incredible situation to find yourself in, but it's not the norm. You will not get so many more jobs than you ever do get. That's the way it is. Like I said, I grew up playing baseball where if you hit 300, you're in the Hall of Fame. If you hit like 50 in acting, you're having a really great career. So it's a lot of rejection, but just like Bitsy said, you can't take it personally. There are so many things that go into that decision making, and so many people who make that decision. There's always going to usually be a back and forth of which person they want. And so, do it if you love it. If it's something you love to do, then go for it. If you love to perform, if you love to tell stories, then do it. And I think if your reasons for doing it are true enough, you'll make it through those times that are challenging, that are tough. But persistence is a huge thing. And just remember, like I said, with anything, if you put in the preparation, if you put in the work and you do what you believe in, then you really can't ask any questions after that. So have faith in that, trust your gut, trust your instinct, and know that what you bring to the table is always going to be unique to you. So don't feel like you have to go out there and really always reach for something super crazy and special to set yourself apart. You set yourself apart by being you and by bringing what you truly find in those characters and what stands out to you. So just have faith and confidence in that. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Thanks for taking the time to answer our questions and give us a behind the scenes peek of your show. We can't wait to watch it once it airs. We know you are both extremely busy and we appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today. Thank you.
Thank you all for having us, and thank you for what you do. And I'm going to sign off now. But thank you for having us. It was really fun.
Thank you for having us, guys. This was great. And I think, what you guys do with these clubs is incredible. Most of the time, preparation meeting opportunity creates great things. So the fact that you guys are all taking steps to be prepared and to find those opportunities and create them for yourselves is really, really special. And I always try to say this because it took people saying it to me when I was young to believe it. Like, if you do put work into things and you work hard and you give it your all, you can do just about anything. So go get it and keep putting in that work. Set your bar where you want to reach and go for it. Don't give up. You guys all got that potential.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for having me, guys.
As Tyler and Bitsy log off, we want everyone watching to stick around for just one moment. We spent time today talking about what it means to be a hero. The truth is, each and every one of us can be heroes every single day. All it takes is a little bit of effort. So we want to challenge you to participate in the Everyday Hero contest. My fellow moderators have created a list of tasks you can choose from that can help you become an everyday hero. Everything small from cooking a meal for your family and collecting canned goods for a food drive. We have plenty of tasks for you, and you can just log on to myfuture.net. We would very much appreciate it.
That's right, Conrad. We are challenging each of you to go to myfuture.net and choose the Everyday Hero contest. You can download our list, choose 3 tasks, and submit for a chance to win some very cool prizes.
So don't wait. The Everyday Hero contest starts today and will go to the end of November. We can all do our part to make the world a better place.
We can't wait to see how you choose to be a hero. Thanks for watching, and a huge thank you to the CW Network for sponsoring this series, and to Tyler and Bitsy for joining us today.
Bye.
Bye.